bloody love Reese's. Greetings and welcome back to another video, Editor Day's reaction video. It's another Lost in the Pond. And today's reaction video is entitled British Furnaces Ain't Got Nothing on America. I'm Miss H and you are my friends as my family and I delve all things USA. If you think you can help us and educate us on your amazing country, then don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you would like to support the channel even more, don't forget to check out our Patreon over here. Links in the description. And especially for our patrons, we did have a live Zoom chat with all our patrons and the legend that was Lawrence Brown. So go check that out. I think it's quite enough of my peddling. Let's get on with the video.
I have a confession to make. I'm Lawrence Brown. I'm 41 years old and I've never operated a boiler. Hello, remember a few weeks ago when I said this? There were in fact a couple of rooms that I never showed you, and one of them is here in this door behind me. Well, the other is inside this very room. So hold on while I let you into my first ever American boiler room. It's locked again. Why do we do this every time? And if you want to continue seeing me get to grips with my first American house, as well as tackling other British versus American differences, and you haven't had a chance to subscribe to this channel, do that now. After living in the United States for almost a sixth of a century, you'd think I'd be well versed in the do's and don'ts of heat generation. I've got friends who knew how all of this worked at 20. They don't speak to me much now. 20 years of renting have rendered me incapable of comprehending that my landlord won't just take care of it. And so I find myself in not just a boiler room, but my first ever boiler room. And my first impressions, I get a terrific sense of creepy crawlies and Mick Foley. But in front of me are some very familiar and also unfamiliar and loud objects. So I'm going to get a little bit closer now to try to get my head around some of this alien tech. Alright, so first up we have this, and this is the house robot, Bertie. This is not Bertie. He's in the garage, isn't he? No, this is in fact the house's water heater, and what it does is it heats up the water. I'm Lawrence Brown and I bring you the biggest revelations of 2023. And the house that I grew up in England, much like a lot of houses in the US that don't have basements, or most of the apartments that I've lived in America, store this thing in a closet, or as we'd say in the UK, a cupboard. Or we Brits very specifically refer to that cupboard as an airing cupboard.
Yeah.
What's an airing cupboard, Lawrence? Well, not only is it a place where we store the water heater, or as it's sometimes known in Britain, a hot water cylinder or hot water tank.
I won't keep pausing. Yeah, growing up we had a airing cupboard, and what we did is we had the boiler in there, but we actually had shelves in there as well, which you could put clothes in that might have been a little bit damp or a little bit wet. You put them in there and it dries it all for you as well.
But an airing cupboard is where you can air out damp fabric, such as towels. We just put it in the cupboard, not this one. This is a basement, this is different. But the airing cupboard in Britain would maybe have a little shelf above the cylinder.
Got that stuff covered on it.
You could just lay the towels down on it. Basically killing two birds with one stone. Not actual birds, they congregated up in the attic. But some houses in America, specifically in the northern United States, do have basements, and so often you will find this, as well as the other contraptions that we're going to talk about, in a singular room like this one. And again, I've never touched one of these, because when I lived with my parents, they just handled it, or had a professional come in. When I rented, we were mostly told to keep away from all that. But I've been doing a bit of reading, and one of the most important features for me, the human, is found not at the top here, but down below. So even at the age of 41, I'm going to have to kneel down. This is going to hurt and be very undignified. One problem that we've stumbled upon after moving into this house is that the water that comes out of our taps is not as hot as we would like it. Basically, it's a few Fahrenheit above lukewarm, and that just won't do because I'm somebody who prizes his baths. We want it closer to scalding without actually escalating into scalding because, as you can see, caution, risk of scalding increases with hotter water. So in order to facilitate our wishes, we need to turn this up very slightly. But there's a bit of a snag, because before you can do that, you have to turn off the electricity in the house. But we're sort of in the process of getting our electrics analysed, because we think they might need updating to conform to modern day safety standards. So we can't really do this yet, and I have to make do with just above lukewarm bath water for a bit. And this is the moment where you all feel sorry for me and suggest that I boil water in a kettle and systematically fill up my bathtub that way. And I might actually do that, because you underestimate just how much I like baths and kettles. I just realised this on the floor right here.
What?
No idea what it is. Sure, you all recognise it. It's got a little pipe coming out the end of it.
What is that?
Tray and a lot of probably from squirrels or insects. I don't think that's actually feces. I'm just making up my own narratives. You see these things a lot down in American basements. I'm not entirely sure what they do, or whether I should touch them or ask someone else to do them. I don't know, what was that? Cubic feet, temperature compensated, 60° Fahrenheit base. They're just making stuff up. I don't know what this is. I'm sure it's important, and it seems to be connected to the piping, which leads this way, over there, and goes seemingly above the main showpiece.
I wonder if the person or the family or whoever lived here before actually has been watching this. It'd be interesting, wouldn't it? You know, to get a YouTube sensation to come into your old house, but do videos about your house. That must be quite surreal.
Which is the furnace. Okay, remember at the start of the video when I said this? I have a confession to make. I'm Lawrence Brown, I'm 41 years old, and I've never operated a boiler. Well, firstly, I've just realised that what we Brits call a boiler, us Americans call a furnace. There are probably thousands of Americans watching this who are now a little less confused. Or doubly so. I've no idea what's going on. And secondly, be honest, when you heard me say I'd never worked a boiler in my life, did you think that was because we don't have boilers / furnaces in the UK? Yeah, I get that a lot. Now, I can't speak for other British houses, but the one that I grew up in Grimsby very much had a boiler / furnace. The thing was, it didn't have a whole room to itself like this spoiled Instead, it had to squeeze into a 9-square-foot cupboard in the kitchen. Now, the first thing I would say about this here furnace is that it's much larger than the boiler that you would find in my family's kitchen cupboard. I don't entirely know why that is, but
if you'd like to see our boiler, it might be completely irrelevant. You're probably not interested, but let me know in the comments below. It's actually just out of the studio in a cupboard / airing cupboard. If you would like us to do that, maybe we could do like a short form video. Let me know in the comments below. And if you are enjoying this video, sorry for all these call to actions, but if you do enjoy this, don't forget to drop a like. It really helps us out. And thank you.
I suspect it's something to do with a couple of factors. Firstly, of course, American homes tend to be larger, so perhaps they just need more power. But also, the way that we heat our houses in the United States is different. And excuse me,
do you not have radiators? Is that what it is? Do you not have radiators? I can't remember.
This is the sound of the furnace. We'll get you a little closer so you can hear it. They have a lot of these air ducts that they have to feed it all into. All of that air gets pushed through there and into different parts of the house. And the further up you go in the house, the less you'll start to see these in the physical sense, but you will see these where the
vents.
air comes out of. This is something you don't really have in British houses. No. Once again, there's a lot of stuff attached to these furnaces.
Maybe I could tie a video in and showing you our radiators. If it's got water in, the water's heated up and it goes around the house, and these radiators pump out heat.
Don't know what most of it does, and I'm very reticent to find out. Because between you and me, I don't want to blow up a house again. And for the most part, from what I understand, you don't really need to know too much. Again, I think if I ever have a problem with this, I will call a professional to handle it. But over here...
That's a good bit of advertising there. Is that Ardmore?
Is something that looks quite familiar. It looks a little bit like the thermostat that we have upstairs that controls the temperature in the house. But this appears to control the humidity, unless that name is just throwing me off. It's 35% inside, setting 25%. Why is there a discrepancy? What does that mean? I don't know. I'm sure I'll find out in due course. One thing I do know is that this pipe led to our fireplace in the living room, but just after we moved in, we had a suspected gas leak. Nothing too serious. We just smelled gas coming from the fireplace. We had some professional, again, always the professionals, come round to cap it off because we didn't want to have to worry about that.
No.
We're just going to, you know, burn the logs ourselves. themselves, because that's just, it's more fun, I think. But it is interesting how just pipage is just everywhere down here and leads to places you wouldn't even think about when you rent. But now that I don't rent, I have to really think about them. Look at all these spider webs everywhere. Look at the absolute state of this. A proper clean-up job down here. Well, I think it's fair to say that during the course of this video, I've learned a lot about American furnaces, and even if that's not true, it's good to say it, just so that my video can have a happy ending.
Guys, thank you so much for sticking around to the end. If you did enjoy this video, don't click off just yet. Don't click off just yet. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Join our amazing community. You guys are the bloody best. And all that leaves me to say is take care, God bless, and see y'all in the next video.